talk about some good times with former ECU linebacker, great Pernell Griffin, who joins us on the Big Rock Power Sports Live line. He was back in town for some Pirate football last week, and it got up close and personal with the team in the locker room as well. We'll talk about all that. Pernell, thank you so much for joining us. How you doing, man?
Hey, Clip, thank you for having me, man. I'm doing great. Just leaving work, man, ready to talk about Pirate football. Kind of share some of my ideas, answer some questions, man. So
Okay.
Looking forward to having a great time.
Yeah, and what a difference a week makes, Pernell, because I wanted to get you on last week and talk about your experience, and you're in the locker room, you're leading a pregame speech, and everybody's high. We're 1-0 in conference play, feeling good. And boy, what a difference a week can make. Now we're wondering what the heck's going on. Where do we go from here after losing to Charlotte? So kind of want to touch on all that, but let's kind of just start with last week. And how cool was it to get back at Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium, see your teammates, see your head coach, Steve Logan, and experience all that?
Man, it was a great feeling. Felt home. Felt like I was back home. I was telling my family and telling some of my friends it feels good to be back home. Enjoyed my experience, not only with doing a pregame speech with the team that Friday, but also seeing some of my Foot 5 brothers during the weekend eating brunch, and also just taking in the experience. It was very, it was very entertaining. I was able to sign autographs, and just to hear our fans say thank you. You know, over 25 years later since Hurricane Floyd, we still have fans saying thank you, and they appreciate that win against Miami. So it was a great time, Clip.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear, Pernell. And I don't know if we posted the video or if I just saw it and we didn't post it because there was some language on it. But Steve Logan giving you guys a pep talk was pretty cool, too. It sounded like the old Logan for a moment there, right?
Yeah, it did, man, and that's kind of how Coach Logan coached us. It was, winning on the last play of the game, no matter who the opponent is, no matter what we have to endure or experience the first three quarters. We're going to win that fourth quarter, and if it comes down to it, if it's the last play of the game, that's ours as well. So we had a mentality which just exemplified, a champion mentality. Even in our loss, we felt like we won anyway. So there was a bond, brotherhood, bond like none other. We were able to hold individuals accountable. Coach Logan, he gave us the leniency to deal with the team as captains and as leaders as we saw fit, as long as it was within, of course, the NCAA rules or what have you. So he gave us that responsibility to build a team. He looked at it. He didn't look at it as it was his team, but he looked at it as it was the players' team. So very grateful to see him. Also saw Coach Connors, man. I spent some time with Coach Connors, man. Let me tell you something. The strength and conditioning part of your program is the backbone of your program. I'm telling you. If your strength and conditioning department, if it's weak, or if it's behind, if there's no no titrate, or if there's no different level, step up level from where you are, man, more than likely you will fail.
Pernell, just talking to some guys from that era over the years, I talked to Kevin Monroe quite a bit, but there was I don't know if love-hate is how to describe it. There's a lot of bad memories from the stories I hear working out with Jeff Connors, but in the end, obviously, made you a better player, and just about everybody says made him a better man. But I heard those were some pretty tough days working with Coach Connors.
Yeah, they were tough, man. It was a funny story. That Friday, before I spoke to the team, I had talked to one of the coaches about 3-a-days, and it was like 3-a-days. It's like that's old school. we don't even do 3-a-days, or we do walkthroughs, and I'm like, wow, that is something else. I remember having to push bands, and remember going up against our offense, and going up against ourselves during warfare. So they were hard times. I mean, as an 18, 19-year-old, you having to piggyback someone up the stadium your size or who wore more.
Man.
We had to spake the stadium. So the workouts, while we were doing the workouts, they were tough. They were hard, but it made the game just that much easier. So, and then when we pushed our opponent to the limit in the fourth quarter, we started to see them cramp up. We started to see them, wanting to come out of the game. And so we knew that was our time. It was kind of like sharks. We saw blood in the water, and that's something that that was our snap. If you played against East Carolina, you're going to be in for a dogfight. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you came from. So that's the mentality that we had.
That's awesome to hear. You're firing Pirate fans up right now. I know that. Pernell Griffin joining us on the Big Rock Power Sports Live line. Pernell, I'm a Washington fan, so I'm watching the postgame show after another Commanders win last night, and Santana Moss is one of the co-hosts. So I think back to being able to see him play live in Raleigh against you, and of course Clinton Portis, and I mean we can go over all the names and all that. Also, I was a D.H. Conley High School student at the time, so Jamie Wilson was my favorite Pirate, and he had a good game that night against Miami. Everybody has their own kind of personal memories of if they were there, where they were, what was going on in their lives with all the flooding and the horrible stuff around here. What Andrew Bays broke it down for like 40 minutes of his personal memories. So a little briefer than that, Pernell. What kind of stands out about that magical night in Raleigh when you guys were able to knock off the Hurricanes?
Well, you know what? Leading up to that night, that week, 2 weeks prior to, of course, we were in South Carolina and didn't anticipate on being in South Carolina but for 2 days. But, Mother Nature had other plans, and we ended up being there for almost 2 weeks. That experience really allowed us to bond. I mean, we became true brothers. We had to depend on each other. We had to help each other out. Now, I'm not saying that every day was a good day because, we got frustrated seeing each other for those many days in a row. So, we got kind of, there were some times where we wanted to just fight, but we knew that it was just going to stop there. But my experience, man, my brothers, they are listening and receiving phone calls from their families, and they're getting the message that they lost everything. So the flood took everything, pictures, memorabilia, their clothes, everything that they had, the flood or Hurricane Floyd, it kind of got destroyed in the weather. And being able to comfort them, man, whether it was prayer or whether it was just giving them an encouraging word, that kind of built our relationship, our football relationship even the more. And then the first half of the Miami Hurricanes, we played them, and they got out quick, man. I believe they got up, I want to say it was 20-0, and then we kicked the field goal at the end of the first half. And we came out that second half, we had to have a conversation with ourselves, and we had to tell ourselves that, hey, we didn't come this far just to give up or throw in the towel. Let's do this for our fans. Let's do this for our family back home. And whatever we're dealing with, hey, let's put that aside for 30 minutes. And for these 30 minutes, let's do what we have to do to take care of business because that's what we come to do. Nobody works harder than us. Nobody has been through what we've been through. And we made it through one hurricane, and guess what? We're going to make it through another. So the guys that got together, man, we hit, Jamie Wilson scored on a Statue of Liberty play, I want to say in the third quarter, on our first possession. But on their first possession, what changed the game, man, there was a hit, man, that was heard all over the world. Clinton Portis, he ran a zone play to the left, and when he turned back, man, number 3, Antoine Yerriton, hit him so hard, all I saw was feet and cleats. And that was the turning point of the game. It was like when that smack hit, it was like, okay, it's on. And from then on, man, we scored 24 unanswered points. They kicked the field goal and missed it. And at the end of the game, we held them off. We ended up winning 27-23. But it was a great ending, man, to a hard 2 weeks that we've experienced with Hurricane Floyd. So I think that's what it was, man. We were able to build a cohesiveness, man, like none other. And, we were able to help each other out when we got back. Because, it wasn't any deal. We got $10, and, we had 2 pair of underwear for 10 days. We had $10. And the coaching staff, they did what they had to do, so that we would have a comfortable stay. They made different arrangements as far as weightlifting, as far as practice. They made different arrangements with high schools, with fitness centers, so that we're still able to be in shape or what have you. But I had a great time, man. The likes of Santana Moss, like you stated, Ed Reed, Mike Rumpf. They had Damian Lewis, Dan Morgan, Nate Webster, Jared Payton, who was Walter Payton's son, Alan Benny Blade. They had
I don't know if you said Reggie Wayne yet. He was out there.
Reggie Wayne.
Yeah,
Hall of Famer. They had Ed Reed, Hall of Famer. Bubba Franks, who was tight end. Man, they were stacked, man. Stacked. They had James Jackson, who was actually the starting running back, but he was injured.
Yep.
Clinton Portis started. And then when Clinton Portis, I believe they should have just stayed with him because he had about 160 yards rushing. But they put James Jackson back in the game, and I think he re-injured his ankle. And they finished out with Clinton Portis.
Man, I love you guys painting that picture. Puts me back right back in that seat watching that game from the upper deck at Carter Finley Stadium. Pernell Griffin joining us. So, Pernell, it's kind of a big picture question here, but you talk about the 3-a-days, and that's old school, and the brotherhood, and you feeling back at home last week. Everything is so plastic and about money these days, and can we ever get that back at ECU? I mean, that's a tough question to answer, but do you ever think it could be that way again? Because college sports now is so year to year with the portal, with everything going on. So are those days just gone and it's a new world, or do you think we can get that back here? Is there a way to get it back?
I don't know if we can get it back like we've had it because of the financial, because of the money that's being involved in sports. But I do believe we can get the mentality back. Back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and this is no knock on the recruiting coordinator or what have you, but ECU was recruiting about 80%, between 81 and 82% in-state. They had guys that actually understood the blue-collar work that had to be put into making something work, because we had a chip on our shoulder. We were identified as the underdog. And a group of us, matter of fact, my class, we had about 18 or 19 in my class that actually played in an all-star game in high school that committed to East Carolina. Excuse me. And so I don't know if we're able to get back to that as far as the position that we were in back in the late 90s, early 2000s, because of that simple fact. But I do believe we can still get that dog soldier mentality back, and it takes trust in the process. It takes trust in the process. It takes everybody buying in to the process, buying into it and trusting it, and that's what Coach Connors, Coach Logan, Coach Webb, Coach Paul Jett, Coach Hucks, Coach Tim Rhodes, Coach Yoshida. That's what those guys were able to do. They were able to pull that potential out of us so that we were able to trust the process. And, man, I tell you, in trusting the process, you'll see the blessing in doing so.
Well, Pernell, like I said, what a difference a week makes. If we had you on last time this week, we'd be talking about being 1-0, about to get to 2-0 in conference play against Charlotte, and everything's going great. And you're in the locker room leading the cheers, leading the fight song. But football, you play a game a week. We got you a week later, and we got you coming off a really bad loss to Charlotte. So now there's questions about what does it look like moving forward for Mike Houston? What do we do moving forward? With quarterback, that's always been a question. But even our defense, which has been really solid under Blake Harrell, looked bad on Saturday. So, you hope it's a blip on the radar, Pernell, or I don't know. Just a lot of Pirate fans are down. I'll say that after what happened on Saturday.
Right. I was frustrated myself, but here again, I don't. As far as throughout the week, the planning or the preparation that goes into preparing for a team, the attention that the guys are actually, they're actually engaged in what's going on, how much film that they're actually watching outside of regular practice. All of these things come into play when you're trying to decide on what was the root cause of us not performing the way that we were able to perform. UNC Charlotte, they had a pretty solid team. But I also think that we missed opportunities early that would have changed the course of the game. There was a pass that hit one of our receivers in the hand off of a flea flicker, who he was wide open, would have scored a touchdown. We missed it. There was another pass that one of our receivers caught, but he ran out of bounds. He was wide open. We missed that opportunity. Then we were missing tackles. We were turning the ball over. I don't think that we were focused. It also looked like we were kind of unprepared as well. So understanding the preparation that goes into preparing each week, just to be transparent, I think that would be, I would be able to answer this question better if I understood the process, what would be going on each week.
Well, you, former Pirate QB Holton Ahlers on our post-game show, and again, he's looking at it from the outside now, but he said it looked like a team that kind of went in there expecting to win and go on into the bye week feeling good, and Charlotte went out there a team ready to play. East Carolina expected to win. Charlotte played to win, and maybe that was the difference, part of the difference on Saturday anyway. Well, Pernell, man, it's great talking football with you. Let's do it again down the road. Good talking past and present with you. As you know from your time here last week and being around, Pirate fans still know, number 47 and the name Pernell Griffin and that team, those teams you were on. So that's really cool, and glad you were able to experience that with your teammates last week. How often do you get to, where do you live now, Pernell?
I'm in Rocky Mount.
Okay, so not too far down the road, so that's good. But hopefully you're able to get back to more Pirate games, and like I said, let's do this again down the road, man. Really enjoyed talking with you.
Oh, absolutely, man. Same here.
Okay, thank you, Pernell. Have a good one, man.